Tonight, Game 3 of this four-game set between the Colorado Rockies and the Washington Nationals. The Rockies won on Thursday. The Nationals prevailed last night. But the game last night quickly became secondary to the condition of Juan Nicasio. One of the scariest moments in recent memory in a baseball game. Ian Desmond, a line drive off the side of Juan Nicasio's head. He went down hard, rolled over, and eventually was taken off the field in a stretcher and on to a local hospital. Juan Nicasio, as the whole stadium looked on, his teammates looked on, and the organization looked on, and collectively held their breath. You know, in the game of baseball, you see from time to time a hitter get struck with a baseball from a pitcher, and you also see from time to time a ball going back at a mound at more than 100 miles an hour. It is an area that we all hope and pray never happens in terms of a tragic situation, and last night was a near tragic situation. Juan Nicasio ended up with a broken C1 vertebrae. He had surgery on it last night approximately midnight. For more information on his condition, we listen now to head trainer Keith Duggar.
CT scan revealed that he had a fracture at the C1 vertebrae. Basically, he had a blowout fracture, and it showed he had some bleeding on the right side of his face. So they put 2 screws in the vertebrae and a small plate in the back of his head. Juan knew of all the options that he had a choice of. He wanted surgery immediately, and this was also his best case option to get him back, so he's pitching someday.
Keith Duggar meeting the media earlier today, and obviously anytime a trainer is the person talking late in the afternoon before a ball game, you know something very serious has occurred. As we bring in George Frazier, Juan Nicasio is very, very fortunate. There was no damage to the spinal cord at all.
Well, he's very fortunate, and I say this, you know, baseball is secondary as far as I'm concerned. It's a matter of not being paralyzed, or the other alternative, which would not be good. And then a lot of times in this instance, guys are paralyzed when they break that vertebra. So I think the big thing for me is the fact that he's going to be able to have a quality of life. Pitching is secondary. If he can get up and walk out of that hospital someday, and he can walk back around and have somewhat of a normal lifestyle, if he gets back to pitch, that's icing on the cake for me.
And again, I want to be very clear about this. He has absolutely no paralysis. He can sit up right now. It's not like they want to do that with him. He has complete movement of all of his extremities. So there is no paralysis. It was a break of the C1 vertebrae, surgically repaired last night. We'll have more information as the evening goes on, and obviously as the weeks go on, as he returns to health. But tonight, returning to health is Carlos Gonzalez. He'll be back in the lineup this evening. back in uniform in the Rockies dugout. He comes off the disabled list tonight, and he will bat third. Todd Helton slides to the 5th spot, and Eric Young and Dexter Fowler will again be the top two at the start of the lineup. And George Frazier, it is great to see number 5 back out.
Yeah, it really is, and obviously very healthy because he went down to Colorado Springs, swung the bat great down there, and I think that's something you look at. He's getting a little different position tonight. He's going to be in right field with EY staying in left field. So you hope his back stays alive as it was when he got hurt, because he was on a hot streak at that time, and he went down to Colorado Springs, swung the bat very well there, and now he's going to have the opportunity here in right field. They're going to continue to see what EY can do in left field and lead off in this lineup, which is the shift now with Todd going back to the 5-hole.
And get him activated, Ryan Spilborghs is dealing with a little plantar fasciitis, was placed on the disabled list. The Rockies and Washington Nationals, Game 3. Yoli Chacin has the baseball. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes. Center more on car insurance. By the Ford Fusion, with quality, power, and economy, we speak value. Ford Fusion, drive one. By Quest. Quest is becoming CenturyLink. Your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com/link. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. So the Rockies and Yoli Chacin will take on the Nationals. The Rockies lost last night 5-3. The Nationals ended up with 15 hits. Rick Ankiel had a good ball game last night. In fact, the top 4 in the Nationals lineup were a collective 9 for 18 with 5 RBIs. You get that kind of production near the top, you generally win the baseball game. Here's the rest of Davey Johnson's lineup. Danny Espinosa broke out of a slump somewhat last night with a couple of hits, including a double. Zimmerman has been on fire. He's hitting 14 straight. Michael Morse has been terrific all year long. Jason Worth, Johnny Gomes gets the start against Chacin. Ian Desmond, Wilson Ramos, and a very good hitting pitcher in the former Rocky, albeit briefly, Livan Hernandez.
Yeah, that's right-hander's going to go against this lineup of the Washington Nationals. A good fastball hitting lineup that he'll face in his 23rd start. In Washington, he had a start there against them. It pitched very well on July the 10th. 7 innings, 4 hits, a run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 84 pitches over the 7 innings in that start against them. And again, there's so many things that have been a positive for Chacin this year, particularly the batting average against. Leads the National League, 205 average.
0-1 on Rick Ankiel, and here's Chacin's next delivery, and that's just off the plate. 1-1. Bill Miller's calling balls and strikes tonight. James Hoy at first, Phil Cuzzies at second, Tom Hallion is at third base. Ankiel is taking a liking to lead things off. He's batting .311 up there. That pitch just missed. He's hit 3 home runs, in fact, this week in the leadoff spot, including a grand slam. 32-year-old Rick Ankiel, Florida native, and the slider's in there. It's 2-2. Pulled foul.
Just think about that as a pitcher. I don't care how good you were in high school, college, that you go from being a pitcher to being a starting center field is such a prominent position in the game, and be very good at it and hit the home runs that he does and has in his career. I mean, it just
I have an explanation.
tells you what kind of great athlete he is.
You're right, George, and I have an explanation for you.
He's good.
Well, he's good, but it's kind of like, you know, Deion Sanders, guy going into Canton. Deion could play football without practicing, could play at the major league level, you know, running around playing football half the time. Why? They're freaks.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. How good, since we're on that subject, George, how good would Bo Jackson have been if not for that, and both sports, if not for the hip injury?
Absolutely no telling. I mean, I think we'd be looking at 500 home runs over a course of, 15, 20-year career at the big league level if he played that long.
And maybe the all-time leading rusher, certainly on the top half dozen in the NFL.
Had a just tremendous arm in the outfield. I still remember the catch in St. Louis when he ran all the way across the top of the wall and came back down again. I mean, just what a freak.
There's some guys like that. Rick Ankiel is freakishly talented. Here's the outfield. E.Y. Dexter, and as George described, Carlos Gonzalez will play right field for the first time this year. He played mostly left, while Dexter was down in Colorado Springs. He was playing center. But they want the strong arm in right field. Of course, they have great speed everywhere now in the outfield. Danny Espinosa at the plate.
He showed last night with that one hit that he hit to right field last night how much he's got some thunder, man. I mean, he hit that line drive, ricocheted. It just took off.
One 1-0 on Danny Espinosa. Among National League rookies, Espinosa has the most home runs with 17, the most ribbies with 55. It's going to be a good race this year. I mean, Freddie Freeman has cooled off a little bit since the Rockies saw him, and he just killed the Rockies this year.
I think you expect that from young players, particularly at the big league level, as you start to go through and pick on maybe some teams that make mistakes. You hurt them, and then all of a sudden you run in and have to go in and face the Philadelphia Phillies for 3 and get their top 3 and take a comfortable 0 for 12. It can throw you in a funk that carries for a couple of days.
I also think, George, it seems like a lot of guys who have success their first year take a step back, or maybe a half a step in year 2.
Well, because it's that second time through. Now they've had 500 at bats to study a hole, to find out where you're not successful, and then they'll live in that hole and see if you make the adjustments.
A lot of examples of that too. Guys that
tons of guys
were terrific as rookies, and in their sophomore year, everybody's like, "Hey, what happened?"
No bigger than
Jason Hayward's going through it.
No bigger than Joe Charbonneau in Cleveland.
That's right. Runner going, and Ricky Ankiel's cut down despite a little bobble by Chris Iannetta. Here's one for you, George. We always talk about the pitcher. Obviously, is a huge part of the equation of whether a runner gets thrown out. That's now 5 of 9 that have been thrown out trying to steal with Chacin on the hill.
Yeah, that makes a big difference on getting it into the home plate area, and he is out. That's the 3rd time Ankiel's been caught. 20th base stealer that Iannetta has thrown out, and that was a tough deal for Iannetta. That was a ball in the dirt. He had a backhand and then get the grip, come up, shuffle a little bit in the glove, and then threw it on the money.
Well, the count runs full for the 2nd straight time. 3-2 on Espinosa. he got him with a fastball, probably out of the zone. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Zimmerman. Had no decision against Philadelphia. Chacin 7 1/3, a run on 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. He pitched beautifully against the Padres as well, yet has not won a baseball game since mid-June. And you know, a 205 batting average against, leading the National League, yet Chacin's just 8-8.
Well, you got to go back and look at one thing. What one big hit happened in that game? What one big hit cost you? The start against Washington, 4 hits, he walked 1, 4 strikeouts, he threw ball that, through in the mid-high 80s with pitch count. Everything was good. The Rockies just didn't score runs that day, and he got beat.
This is up the middle, and another base hit for Zimmerman.
Now you go back and start looking at a lot of his starts. Go back against the Dodgers a year ago, and then this year the same pattern has started to follow it. 6 walks in June against a ball club, 3-6, 1-1, 7-1. You can't walk that many people in a game and anticipate to win that ball game.
15-game hitting streak now for Ryan Zimmerman. And now Michael Morse, whose .320 average is 4th in the National League. That's one of those deals where if you're a casual observer of baseball, or even a guy or gal that follows baseball every day, and you look in the paper and you say, all right, let me look at the leaders, home runs, RBIs, batting average, and you look down, you see Reyes, all right, I know Jose Reyes, Braun, yeah, Ryan Braun. You see Morse, and you do a double take. You're like, wait a second, who's this guy Morse?
Well, you think, is he some 22-year-old rookie just popped up out of the minor leagues? And you find out he's 29 years old. He'd been in the big leagues once before, but obviously everything clicked late for him, and he's having a tremendous year in this national uniform.
Joey Votto, another name that most people aren't familiar with, at least not a household name, Daniel Murphy of the Mets. 0-2 misses, 1-2. He's got a pretty good idea of the strike zone. You don't hit 320 if you don't. Two and two.
Only walked 20 times and has struck out 87 times.
This is chopped to Tulowitzki. Boy, that hit the
2 days in a row.
Yeah, it hit the lip. Stayed down all of a sudden. Tulo handled it. Good inning for Chacin. Denver Health Center Hospital until after 6 in the morning today, with Juan Nicasio's surgery taking place in the middle of the night. And now he's looking at Jhoulys Chacín's hand. Chacín doesn't seem overly concerned with it, whatever it is. Eric Young Jr. will lead things off again for the Rockies. He's done a good job of getting on base since his return. Southwest lineup for Jim Tracy. Dexter Fowler will hit second. Then Cargo back in there. Troy Tulowitzki will bat fourth. He has really swung the bat exceptionally well since June 1st. Todd Helton will bat fifth. Ty Wigginton, Chris Nelson, Chris Iannetta, and Chacín.
Livan Hernandez struggled last 6 starts, has not gotten to 100 pitches in any of those starts, and he's typically a guy that works deep into ball games, an innings eater. An overall record of 172 and 173 in his career, so a lot of decisions also for the veteran right-hander, making his 24th start in a Nationals uniform.
Well, he's faced the Rockies a bunch through the years. I mean, when you've been around since 1996. He's faced the Rockies on 27 occasions, a 7-11 record, 4.26 ERA. And he'll throw anywhere from the mid to high 50s all the way up to now the high 80s. He used to throw much harder.
1-7 road record, ERA around 5, at home 5-3, 327 earned run average.
That's a fastball, folks, at 81. That's not a changeup.
He just pitches. I mean, that's how he's got to have his success, and that's hitting locations.
3-2. And ball to second.
And what's typical what you get out of him, he's just one of those guys that's going to sink it, cut it. In baseball terminology, folks, he'll throw everything but the kitchen sink.
Defensively, the Nationals have Johnny Gomes in left field, Rick Ankiel in center, Jason Worth is at right. Zimmerman, a tremendous third baseman. Desmond's made 16 errors at short. Espinosa has good range at second. Michael Morse at first. And then Wilson Ramos again behind the plate. You know, Livan is a bigger body, but he's a very good athlete.
Oh, he's a tremendous athlete. Really field his position well, swing the bat well.
It just ties you up.
Well, it's something you don't ever see. You know, you get so used to 88 to 95 from a starting pitcher and a harder breaking ball and a harder changeup. He's throwing a changeup at 81, 82, which is a typical, I mean, that's his fastball speed right now, typical of a changeup for most guys. They'll throw a change 80 to 85. That's his top out fastball. But the thing is, the one thing he does have, folks, he can pitch.
That's a slider, and it's 2-2. He's a great guy to visit with. He was briefly a Rocky back in 2008. Made 8 starts, went 3-3 in a Rockies uniform. And he was extremely popular with all his teammates. And this is lifted to left field.
The one guy in this lineup I feel confident with, I shouldn't say one, but a couple of guys that if they'll stay back, Todd Helton's one of those guys. And he's seen more than anybody in the roster, 83 times in his career versus him. He has home runs, he has the RBIs against him because he keeps his hands back. He doesn't get anxious at the plate. Cargo's another one of those guys, because of his long swing, even when he's out on that front foot, can have a lot of plate coverage.
Cargo has not had any success with him yet, though. He's 0 for 7 lifetime against Livan. Todd is hitting .465 against Hernandez. So a strike on Gonzalez tonight, coming off the 15-day disabled list. Still has the wrist wrapped up. And that's gloved by Hernandez. And that's all for the Rockies in the first inning. So we'll go to the second, no score. He'll lead things off for Washington against Jolie Chassin. Pretty night at Coors Field. Another very nice crowd Saturday night at the ballpark. Rockies will play one more with the Nationals, then they'll head to Cincinnati. Play 4 in Cincinnati, 3 in St. Louis before getting back to 20th and Blake. Chassin walked a man, gave up a hit in the first. It's been 50-50 so far. Balls and strikes, 22 pitches, 11 in, 11 out of the zone. Ball and a strike on Worth. And he got the fastball by the 32-year-old. Worth had reached in 15 straight games till last night. He's without a hit though in the series till there. And he's going to try to go for 2 on Eric Young, and he's going to get there easily.
Well, that arm's going to get tested in the outfield. EY is, and the best thing you can do is just try to be as quick with the release after the catch and be as accurate with the throw as you can be. Appears to be a slider on the spin of the baseball, working down and away from Worth, but he was able to reach out. This just shows a little bit of the strength he has. And then whenever EY got to the ball, he just kind of airmailed it, a high throw versus a low throw. And a lot of times when you're trying to add velocity to a pitch from the outfield or the throw, you'll kind of just get under it too much and get too much air under the ball, and stays in the air long enough that allowed the runner to come in.
Johnny Gomes hitting just 168 against righties is at the plate. He was really struggling with Cincinnati. And he's been a big part of their offense the last couple of years.
Well, he had been. 11 home runs, 31 RBIs. You mentioned the struggles here. They have continued to come over with him from Cincinnati, unfortunately. He was a big part of that offense, a dangerous part of that offense in their ballpark.
Ground ball to short, and Worth really foolishly crossed over, but he's not going to pay the price. Tulowitzki looked to third and then opted to get the sure thing. He had a pretty good play on Worth. This hit too hard to cross over him.
Well, you would think so. I mean, Tulowitzki thought about it too, because Wigginton went over to the third base bag and looked at it, and then Tulowitzki, all right, early in the game, I'll go ahead and get the out. You know, I thought it might have nicked him. I really did. See, he's going to straddle this baseball. Ooh, I think I might have caught a little pant leg, but obviously they were watching.
Ian Desmond was 4 for 4 last night, and the Rockies are going to bring the infield with 1 out halfway.
If you look at the Rockies infield, by going halfway, it allows them to obviously have more range to cover the baseball. But they all got strong enough arms. Worth's a good runner, but they've got strong enough arms that if they field the baseball and Worth goes, they'll have a shot to get it.
Casanetta wants to go out. Well, Chassin's back-to-back strong performances. No decision against the Philadelphia Phillies. He went 7 1/3, a run on 6 hits, couple walks, couple punch-outs in 101 pitches. It's the night that Philadelphia tied it against Houston Street in the 9th and won it in the 10th against Rex Brothers. Good breaking ball, 0-2. Chastain not striking out hitters at the same rate as last year, but he's still well above average. And he'll look to get a punch out here on Desmond with that runner at third base. And he got him. 2 outs. Boy, George, the ability to do that, I think the great ones have that. The big winners typically have the ability, when necessary, to go get a punch out.
The hitters tell you the story, then you just ride it. If he looks so poorly on a slider on the previous pitch, why try to throw anything else to him? All you're worried about is don't hang it put it in a location to get the swing and miss, and they did just that.
Wilson Ramos at the plate, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Well, since the split was 11-11 early on, balls and strikes, 8 of the next 9 pitches all in the strike zone, make it 9 of the next 10 all in the strike zone.
All about location too. I mean, the fastball's been 87-92. So when you have that type of location away from the batter, off of the plate, but you're living on the corner, that way you're getting the strike call, but you're also eliminating a lot of the power.
Here's the 0-2 and a little comeback. Well done by Chacin. He had a runner at third and 1 out, and that runner stays at third base. Middle of 2, no score.
Of the second inning, and I'm going to try to the best of my ability to explain further what exactly happened to Juan Nicasio. He fractured his C1 vertebrae. It is very commonly known when a vertebrae is fractured as a broken neck. There are 7 cervical vertebrae in the neck, basically neck bones, and any fracture of any one of the 7 can be absolutely catastrophic. Now, the C1, or atlas as it is also called, is the topmost vertebra, and along with the C2 right below it, it forms the joint connecting the skull and the spine. Now, an injury to any of the vertebrae, guys, can cause spinal cord injury resulting in loss of sensation, paralysis, or ultimately death. I want to be clear that Juan Nicasio did fracture that C1, but he does have feeling in all of his extremities. He is not experiencing any paralysis, and the prognosis is good. Only time will tell in terms of how quickly he can recover and if and when he can get back on the pitching mound. Of course, again, that is obviously secondary. The utmost importance, of course, is his health. But hopefully that further explains what he did. Could have been far more serious, guys.
It's a fly ball down the right field line. It's going to drop at fair ground and going to second. Head first slide in with a double is Tulowitzki. So leadoff double for Troy Tulowitzki. Just to expound a little bit on Alana's report, I talked to Keith Duggar after his press conference today, and one of the things he said, and there is not a lot of data on this recovery for a baseball player because nobody knows of any baseball player that ever had a fracture of their C1, but he believes strongly, partially because of the makeup of Nicasio, that he will be able to return to the mound.
Mentioned earlier, Helton 83 at bats. It's 85 with 12 doubles, 2 home runs, 16 RBIs against Livan Hernandez.
Let's get a little more from Keith Duggar on the catastrophic injury to Juan Nicasio.
From what I understand, there was what we call axial load. His face just hit straight down. Most of these type of injuries are done in motor vehicle accidents or diving into a rock or something of that sort. We just don't see that even in football that much or baseball. I don't think there's ever been a C1 fracture in a professional baseball player.
3-0 on Todd Helton, and Keith said it's unclear. This is the center field, and it's going to be grabbed by Ankiel. It's unclear as to how the fracture occurred. Was it when Juan was hit with the baseball because his head spun very quickly, or if it was, as he was describing, when he went down and didn't have anything to break the fall, went far head first into the dirt.
And Keith, what Keith does a lot of times when there's an unusual injury like this, he will search out 29 other trainers in baseball. Have you ever experienced this? And what do we have to look forward to in making this young man what he needs to be again? And that's what he's talking about when he's saying, you know, I don't know of any others in baseball that, you know, that I could call to get reference from other than what doctors tell you. But for an athlete, for it to happen.
Well, now, you know, it's so much easier to gather information. You're obviously going to talk to experts in the field, doctors in the field, but you're going to get on the internet and also try to discover if, you know, there are athletes that went through this sort of thing. This is punched to shallow left. Desmond made the catch. That's an out. He lost the baseball making the exchange. Ty Wigginton staying on first base for the moment.
Now, home plate umpire came out immediately. Bill Miller signaled out on this exchange. This is what Drew's talking about when he got it into the glove here, and as he brought it down to get it into his hand, that's when it was lost.
And that's the right call.
Absolutely it is. You know, the hardest ball hit in this game so far has been probably Helton's ball to center field. Maybe Gonzalez line drive right back at Hernandez. Todd scalded that ball.
He's beneath the radar, Livan Hernandez.
Well, he's one of those guys in baseball terms. He's so far below the hitting speed. I mean, he's below batting practice speed. I mean, it's just so difficult to adjust to. That's why he's so effective 2, maybe 3 times through a lineup. But you got to be careful as far as getting into the 8th and 9th inning with him, which they won't do that.
He's coming off a great start. He beat the Atlanta Braves in his last start. Went 6 innings. He allowed just 1 run on 6 hits. Didn't walk anybody. Typically doesn't walk many. Struck out 3. Washington won that ball game 5-3. Nelson a base hit last night. Chance to drive in Tulowitzki if he can come through. Center field, Rick Ankiel. Just throws your timing off, gets you out on the front side quite a bit. The Tulowitzki left at second. We'll go to the 3rd, no score. Brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, celebrating 20 years of excellence. The Rockies conclude this series with Washington tomorrow. The pregame show at 12:30 on Root Sports. 4 in Cincinnati. No television Thursday afternoon. It will be Thursday morning back here. And then the Rockies will take on Albert Pujols, Matt Holliday, and the Cardinals. Livan Hernandez, a very good hitting pitcher, and it's 2-0.
That's an understatement. You make a mistake on this guy, it can hurt you. 5 RBIs, an average at 206. Look at the big open stance he's got. Just lays the bat back there.
Well, Chacín's fallen behind 3-0.
Looking at that hand, I want when he looked after the first inning, obviously it didn't look like it affected him in the second inning. It's more if it's more the grip and the pressure. You see body language out of the dugout a little bit.
3-1. Last night was a rough night for everybody involved with the Rockies organization, and in particular the players. I was talking to guys like Troy Tulowitzki, Chris Nelson. They've played a lot of baseball games. When you go back to high school, college for many of these kids, obviously many games professionally in the minor leagues before they get to this level. And of the guys that I talked to, nobody had ever seen that kind of situation. They've seen pitchers hit before, but not like that.
Well, the hard part too is that a lot of these guys that are on his team, because of the organization, homegrown players all the time. That's the one thing the Rockies have, homegrown guys. So you start talking about some of those younger players. They've been around Juan Nicasio. He's been with the organization going on 8 years. So they've known this young man for a long time. The Dexter Fowlers, the Youngs, the guys that are out here playing now, Chris Nelson. They're guys that have been around him an awful lot, and so it's not just ball player teammate, it's family.
Obviously, Juan is from the Dominican Republic, and immediately the Rockies got on the horn and threw Rolando Fernandez, who's director of Latin American operations for the Rockies. They got a hold of Juan's folks, and Juan was able to talk to them last night, and obviously, assuage their fears. Joe Diaz, who is one of the right-hand men for Keith Schultz, who is the director of clubhouse operations on the home side for the Rockies and is bilingual, was at the hospital last night just to make sure, even though Juan does understand English and speaks a little bit of English, just to make sure everything that Keith or the doctors were passing along or that he was trying to explain was interpreted properly. Nelson on the move. Nice play, good inning. 3 ground balls for Chacín. We continue on, middle of 3, no score at Coors Field. Rockies have one hit. It was a bloop double to right last inning by Troy Tulowitzki leading off. But Helton hit a fly ball to center. Wigginton a soft liner to short. And then Chris Nelson hit a fly ball to center field. Three hits last night for Iannetta. Here's the 2-0. And that should drop for another hit. So a leadoff single for Iannetta. Chacín will be in a sacrifice mode. Let's see what Alana Rizzo's up to again. Alana?
All right, guys, I just wanted to expand a little bit on the story you were just talking about. I spoke with Jonathan Herrera earlier today, and he was talking about how Juan Nicasio's parents are obviously desperately trying to get to the United States from the Dominican Republic. But as you might imagine, they have to get visas. So the Colorado Rockies and Major League Baseball are working with the Dominican government to try to get emergency visas passed through as quickly as they can to get here to be with their son. Now, Esmil Rogers, as you guys mentioned, had been in conversations with the parents, making sure everything made sense to what's going on with Nicasio, in Spanish, of course, and he has been with them. Now, Nicasio at the moment does not have any family here other than his teammates, and Esmil Rogers told me that his agent and his lawyer have been with him since the incident occurred, since they were allowed to come into the room. He did say that the relationship that Nicasio has with his lawyer is one like a father, so he does feel like he has some sort of family here. However, his parents urgently trying to make it to the United States to be with their son, guys.
And you know, obviously the Rockies are going to do everything they can to expedite that and take care of Juan's family. The hit by pitch, so the Rockies have 2 on.
Well, he squared around. Out. Yeah, slow curveball, 64 miles an hour, squared around to bunt it, and then he brought the bat back. Now, Davey Johnson was arguing that he kept the bat out in an attempt to bunt the ball, which would be the same thing as swinging at a pitch.
And a good bunt for Young. And a cavalier throw by Hernandez. It's going to cost Washington. Here comes Iannetta with a run. Going to third base is Chacín. Ewai safe at first. Levon Hernandez, who's a good fielder, just kind of casually tossed the ball in the general direction of Morse.
Well, this whole inning has unfolded as a nightmare for Davey Johnson and his starting pitcher, Levon Hernandez. The base hit, then he hits Nicasio. This is a bunt out front, off-balance flip, not anywhere near first. They had 2 guys over there. First baseman Morris, he's going to retreat back to the bag. The second baseman was coming Espinoza. Neither guy caught the baseball, and I'm a little surprised that Morris didn't come off the bag farther to catch the baseball. Even if it means Ewai safe, you prevent a run.
Fouled off the end of the bat by Dexter Fowler. So here's how you score that. It's a sacrifice for Eric Young. And an error on Hernandez, allowing not only Young to reach, but also Iannetta to score and Chacín to go to third. A very costly error by Levon Hernandez. Nobody out. First and third. Great wheels at first.
On a soft tosser. You got to try to go here.
This is roped down the line. Triple territory perhaps. Ewai's motoring around the bases. He'll score easily. Dexter heading to third. Stand up. Triple. Well, he took a late slide. You get the picture. 2 runs batted in for Fowler. And the Rockies have a 3-0 lead. Triple number 11 for number 24.
Yeah, Davey Johnson shaking his head, watching the Rockies high-five everybody in the dugout. A slider that just stayed up in the strike zone. Not anywhere near where they wanted this pitch to be. Dexter got his hands inside, got the head of the bat out front, jerked it right over the head of Morris down into that right field corner, and then it was only just off to the races and to watch the good results. Worth got the ball in a hurry, back in again, and Dexter safe ahead of that throw.
Actually, a pretty good relay. I didn't even think there'd be a play on him. Outside on Carlos Gonzalez. Infield's in. Rockies have quickly put up 3 on the board. Drago to line drive back at Hernandez that he caught. Triples leader Reyes, Victorino, and Fowler in the National League.
Dexter 3 away from tying his club record of 14 that he set in 2010.
Tell you what, Cargo's showing good patience, George, particularly since he's been out for a while.
He's got an RBI setting at third base. Get a strike you can hit. Hit the line drive right back at Hernandez, and he's first at bat.
2-0. A smash to Morse, hit too hard for Fowler to advance. So 1 out. That'll bring up Tulowitzki.
That's the only way you're going to prevent the run. He's hit it right at one of those guys and hit it that hard, and that's exactly what Cargo did, and they made a play on it.
Tighten up the glove. Tulowitzki at the plate, 4th in the National League in RBIs with 75, and number 76 is about 80 feet away. Troy with that double has the average to 294. He's also among the league leaders in extra base hits. Livan Hernandez, the winner of 172 games in his career. He's lost 173. He never misses, George, ever.
Start after start. That's one thing you can count on for him. Well, extra base hit, National League leaders, Tulowitzki right there, tied for second with 52.
2-0, and this will get the job done. Good piece of hitting by Tulowitzki. Coming home is Fowler with run number 4. RBI number 76 for Tulowitzki. The Rockies taking advantage of sloppy baseball in the inning by Washington. Dexter Fowler, who tripled in 2, getting high fives. 4-0 Colorado.
David Johnson talking to Steve McCaddy, his pitching coach, and I'm sure they're discussing all the different ways you pitch to certain guys, what you've got going on, but all of a sudden you're down a 4 spot in a ball game that you, quite honestly, folks, should have an out at first base and a runner at second, and then whatever EY would do. So that error, very costly, and the hit batsman of Chassin ends up costing Livan Hernandez in the National a 4 spot on the board pretty quick.
One and one on Todd. Fly ball to center field his first time. Mentioning how durable Hernandez is. Spanning 15 seasons, he has now made 469 consecutive starts without being placed on the DL.
That's why he keeps getting jobs. He's going to win double digits. He's going to take the ball. He's going to eat up some innings for you. Count every 5th day that typically he's going to go 6 to 8 innings in a start.
Outside. 2-2.
Yeah, I'm sure Livan not in a really good mood right now about what's going on. So he just throws the ball over his head, and Livan's like, all right, let's go pick it up.
Bill Miller missed his target. He doesn't get as much time to warm up. I never see the umpires out here playing catch.
That's why you always hand it to the catcher. You know, you don't embarrass yourself. John Shulock was an umpire that worked at the big league level for a while, was a middle infielder for the Minnesota Twins, and he got released. So it was like he was still trying to have a tryout all the time in between innings. You know, if you ask for a new baseball, they want to see how hard he could throw it. Maybe somebody was watching.
Todd hits his high in the air to fairly deep center field. Rick Ankiel moves back and makes the catch. The Rockies get 4 in the inning. Livan Hernandez helped out hitting a batter and throwing a ball away. runs on his side of the ledger. 4-0 Colorado. Top of inning number 4 with George Frazier and Alana Rizzo. I'm Drew Goodman. Toyota Talk in the 6th inning. Here's your subject for the night. George, you like seeds?
Sunflower seeds?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to.
I like eating seeds when I'm at the...
Well, I know, because every day in the ballpark, you go down there and dugout and you grab your big pack.
Yeah,
you usually eat them through batting practice.
No, I'll have seeds at the ballpark here when coaching the boys. I like to have seeds. What's your favorite flavor? I mean, when I was growing up, it seemed like there was only, you just had seeds.
I just like the plain ones. I don't like barbecue and ranch and all that stuff. I'm a plain seed guy.
See, I kind of like some of the different flavors they have. So we want to know what your favorites are. Text Toyota followed by a space and then that subject to 720-720. I never thought I would go there. I saw in the last year dill pickle. I'm saying, what? Dill, and I like dill pickles. So I finally tried them, George. You know what?
You liked them.
Pretty good. But cracked pepper is my favorite. 2-1 on Ryan Zimmerman. He got his hit out of the way to continue his hit streak in the 1st inning. A bouncer up the middle. He's hitting 15 straight. Career .344 hitter against the Rockies. Little get-together last night, George, in San Francisco. The Phils and Giants, a lot of pushing and shoving, and a couple guys wrestling on the ground.
Worst thing you do in that pile, don't get on the ground.
Do not get on the ground. And there are going to be some suspensions. Philadelphia and the Giants played a day game this afternoon, and Philly won 2-1. Philadelphia has now won 9 in a row. Victorino got hit. It was after Rollins stole a base. The Phillies were up 6 runs at that point in the 6th inning. And then Eli Whiteside went low there, and that's where some guys went to the ground. Now, I don't know how long we're going to be able to continue to show you this, but they kind of got things settled down a little bit, and then Victorino broke around the pack again, George. You've seen that happen in these types of situations about 30 seconds later.
Well, you get everything calmed down, and then here you go. 6 ground ball outs so far, a couple of strikeouts for Chacin. So looking for a double play ball here after the leadoff walk and after your team just put a 4 spot on the board. Well, typically what happens as soon as you think you got everything calmed down, and then the guy's holding on to you. You got one guy holding on to you, left side, right there you go. That's a coach trying to hold on to him. And he broke loose, and he ends up tackling somebody with a warm-up jacket on. I think it was Rigetti's who he tackled.
And Jimmy Rollins was getting into it a little bit with Ron Wotus, the bench coach for San Francisco. And despite all of that, Philadelphia rolls on. Again, a 2-1 win today. That's a ground ball down the third base line past a diving Ty Wigginton. And Zimmerman's going to get a green light. He's going to score. And the Nationals have a run. It's 4-1 on the RBI double by Michael Morse. So he continues to throw out hits every night.
Throw out hits, drive in runs, guys get on in front of him. Zimmerman's been one of the hottest guys, but the leadoff walk that really comes back to hurt you. Now this ball hugged that third baseline. Ty Wigginton does a dive and try to get over, knock the ball down, and have an opportunity at that point to get somebody out. But it got by him, got into that corner. And once again, with EY's arm down there, he felt like they might test it. They did. Well, since 1974, the lowest batting average against with runners in scoring position. Yolis Chacin, 130. Traxel, who was with the Cubs at the time in '96, had a 137 average. Buzz Capra, remember that guy?
Sure.
It was a while back. 1974 with Atlanta, they hit 138. And against Roger Clemens in 2005, they hit 138 against Clemens.
.20 on Worth, and that misses. 3-0. This is the good Chassin and the bad Chassin all in the same ball game. Chassin, command issues in the first inning. Second inning, Worth doubled, and then it was zip, zip, zip. And the third inning was pretty much zip, zip, zip. And now here in the fourth inning, George, the walk, the double, he's 3-0 on Worth.
Work ahead in the count, then the stuff will dictate what you do to get people out. Now walk to Worth.
And that's 3 walks allowed by Chassin.
And they have the type of lineup, and again, that one swing can change the whole dynamics of a ball game, and that's what they got. One of those guys that play right now, Johnny Gomes.
Safelite Auto Glass, the place to go if your windshield's damaged. 303-287-5000 online at safelite.com. Two men on now, nobody out, a run already in. See, the second, third, and fourth, excuse me, the second and the third were really good. The fourth, not so good considering there's nobody out. And that's up. Johnny Gomes, a powerful guy, especially on the pull side.
Slide open stance, wanting the ball in the middle half end of the plate. Baseball, you call them cripples hitters. Hang that slider, miss a location with your fastball, and he's going to hurt you.
Two balls and a strike. Morse at second. He doubled in Zimmerman, who walked. Worth is at first. He just walked. And it's 3-1 on Gomes. Starting to be reminiscent of the outing where Chassin walked 7.
Don't need that kind of an outing. That was 3 starts ago against the Atlanta Braves. 4 2/3, 5 runs, 7 walks. He had 4 strikeouts through 113 pitches in 4+ innings. Shut it down, get you a double play ball. Got an aggressive guy. Gomes hit the ball hard, if you remember, right at Tulowitzki's last at bat.
3-2.
One of the Rockies' troubles early in the season, runner in scoring position. Well, Washington no different. They're 15th in the National League with an average of 229.
And now the bases are loaded, nobody out. And this pitch may have caught the outside corner on the 4th strike zone, but as we've often described, if you're all over the place, you're not going to get a borderline pitch.
Well, Bob Apodaca's already been out to talk to him. Now the Rockies brought up Greg Reynolds, so he's down in the bullpen now. So you do have an extra arm down in the bullpen for the Rockies because of Escalona throwing so many innings. And Matt Belisle going 3 just 2 days ago. Needed that extra arm.
Fouled off by Desmond. He struck out his first time.
6th time this year that he's had an opportunity with the bases loaded. He has 1 hit.
Tough to play defense behind this kind of outing right now for Chacin. 64 pitches, 31 in the zone, 33 in the zone, 31 out of the zone. Two and one. And again, you see three pitches that one's clearly in the zone, the other two look like they're in the zone, but Bill Miller not giving that borderline pitch to Chacin. This is a comebacker, flip to the plate, there's one, and the fire to first. Great play by Helton. Safe at first, but that's a great job by Helton. I thought Ionetta George was going to eat it. He decided to try to get Desmond still. Unfortunately, Todd able to keep that from going down the right field line. One out. Base is still loaded, and the catcher Ramos coming up.
Yeah, this is really close right here. Chacin gets off. He's going to be able to glove this ball and then flip it to Chris. And Chris took a little gamble, and then that ball ran by him. And again, if Desmond's a little bit slower and he's out in this lane a little bit longer, so he's running in the right lane. But he got by the bag to beat it out. If he's a little bit slower, that could have been a lot of problems for Todd Helton to try to catch the baseball.
Ramos hit a comebacker his first time up. Nationals have hit 300 of late, last 10 games with runners in scoring position. But George was saying a moment ago, over the season, been very good. Ramos is 177 with runners in scoring position, 2 for 11 this year, and opportunities with the bases full. Two-strike count. Hernandez on deck.
Ewy's pretty shallow in left field. Pitch him away, play him away. That ball was a hanger on the inner half of the plate. Outfield playing straight away too, so very typical of Rockies defensively in the outfield. They'll play straight away more than they'll try to shade a lot of different ways. Miss fastball down and away.
Two and two on Ramos. Worth at third, Gomes at second, Desmond at first. 4-1 Colorado. Top of 4. Got him.
Well, slider's been the out pitch for him. Now you just hope you get 2 outs. The base is loaded still. I mean, it's a good hitting pitcher. And Livan Hernandez just go make that pitch. Get out of it. He made it here. Hard, nasty slider after a diet of fastballs away. Good pitch by Chacin to retire Ramos, who was fooled by the pitch.
Chris Ionetta may have gone out with Gomes at second base for a number of pitches and changed the sequence. He may have also reminded him that Livan Hernandez is a very good hitting pitcher.
A lot of times it's preset. If he comes out and looks at your shortstop, we're going to second set of signs if the shortstop doesn't approach the mound, because otherwise they don't know what to throw. Second and short always know what your sequence of signs is for pitcher catcher with a runner on second. So a lot of times if he comes out, he may just look at Tulowitzki and put up a 3, and that tells you third set of signs we're going to use versus the first we've been using. Middle infield has to know what you're doing as a pitcher catcher situation, and it helps them play and judge what they're doing in positioning defensively.
And then they'll also, in some way, shape, or form, with a whisper or snicker, let the corner infielders know this gets away from Ionetta, and an easy run for Jason Worth. Everybody moves up 4-2. Control issues for Chacin. Walks, and now wild pitch. And what you've done, your club gave you 4 runs, and now Chacin just opened the door again for Washington.
Yeah, one of the hardest things to do is come back out, go out on the field, and sit out there for 15 minutes right after they gave it to you. Slider, difficult pitch, particularly if it hits well out in front of home plate. It did just that, 2 or 3 feet. Fundamentally, Chris Ionetta did everything he should to block the pitch. But when a ball on a slider will hit, it rotates, spins the opposite of the way it's going. So that ball rotated when shot towards their dugout, and it cost a run.
On the ground is second. 2 runs in the inning for Washington. They only had 1 hit. The double by Michael Morse. 4-2, middle of 4th. And it reads tonight, who's the only person to be enshrined in both the Baseball and Pro Football Hall of Fames? Shannon Sharpe, the former Bronco great, out of Savannah State, enshrined this weekend in the Canton and Pro Football Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Shannon.
Nice article, too. Mike Kless wrote about a week ago, and growing up, and about Grandma and the house at the end of the road, and what he went through as a child growing up. Nice success story. Great success. I really enjoyed that article Mike wrote.
2 brothers pretty good, he and Sterling, huh?
Pretty good way of doing things. They can play on my team in flag football.
Tom Wigginton, Chris Nelson, Chris Ionetta, 2-0. Cubs, by the way, won again today, 11-4 over Cincinnati. So the Cubbies have won 7 straight. They had a long ways to go, though. They were 15 out at the beginning of play today. This ball's hit well to left field. Way back. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Ty Wigginton with his 14th big fly. Make it 5-2 Colorado.
So I thought, running fastball, got back to the middle of the plate. Ty loves that inner half of the plate where he can really extend, generate so much power, and he does it here in the left center field. His 14th home run, 43 RBIs now. But to think of all the games he's missed, I mean, a year ago, 22 and 73, I think it was his overall numbers for the year. He's may not get to that 73, 74 RBIs, but he also didn't play a lot of. Boy, keep your head on it. How picturesque is that? I'd like to draw that up and give it to somebody.
2-0s on the outside corner, 2-1 on Nelson. First home run since June the 29th. We told you in the month of July, the Rockies, their batting average was solid, but they didn't hit many home runs. One of the fewest home runs in a month in franchise history. So a lot of guys have hit home runs lately. We keep throwing up on the board. Well, first home run since June the whatever, and it was the case with Seth Smith. This has popped up. Case with Ty Wigginton. It's the case with Chris Iannetta as well. Speaking of Iannetta, he had a base hit his first time. He's hit 6 in a row. Hits. He is now 7 for his last 14 at the plate on the homestand. He's hitting above 330 since the All-Star break. This ball's drilled to left field and deep, and it is gone. Nice catch in the first row. Chris Iannetta has hit his 12th. Well, the Rockies playing a little ping pong with the seats here in the fourth.
Hanging breaking ball this time. The pitch to Wigginton was a fastball that ran in. This is one of those slow curve balls. Iannetta just sat back on this thing and waited. Recognized it right out of the hand and hung long enough out over the zone for him to hit his 12th home run. Boy, it's just stay hot, Chris. So how many balls does this guy have? I mean, it looks like every time I look up, the guy in the front row is getting him in about every situation coming up with him. Nicasio with a knock. Excuse me. Chacin with a base hit. I mean, that guy has, but I guarantee I want to ask him sometime, Doug, we need to find out how many that has. How many home runs he's caught, or how many balls he's caught, and the batting practice and all those things.
Well, why don't we have Alana go out and ask him? I ran into him a couple weeks back, and he gave me the number, and I forgot it. Eric Young Jr. at the plate. And that's a base hit for Junior. So Livan Hernandez getting knocked around here.
He's working his way right into double trouble is what he's doing. The bottom half of the lineup, Wigginton and then Iannetta, Chacin, and Young. Now you're at the top of the order with traffic out there.
Chris, who just hit his 12th home run. That's now tied for second in the National League among catchers. Brian McCann has 18. Miguel Montero has 12. And Chris Iannetta has 12. Tom Gorzelani, who's always been a starting pitcher in his big league career, the former Pirate. Record 7-11 all time against the Rockies. Tulowitzki is a couple doors down as a double and a sac fly. The 4-hole this year against Livan Hernandez, hitting over 400. Two spot in the order's up right now. Dexter Fowler. And this is a high fly ball to right center field. And Chacín tags. He's not going anywhere. Rick Ankiel fires it to third base. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Gonzalez. Cargo in his return tonight. A line drive back to Hernandez. And then a one-hop smash to first, so he's 0 for 2. Back in the 3-hole. The Rockies reshuffled the deck, scuffling offensively. Cargo was scuffling a little bit in the early part of June. He was placed in the leadoff spot, and he actually back in May, and he responded. He hit well above 330 in that spot. And this is a fly ball to shallow center field. This is going to drop for an RBI. Chacín is going to score the Rockies' 7th run. A bloop single for Cargo, and he's got his 57th RBI. And we've got tacos already tonight here in the 4th inning. Make your way to Taco Bell tomorrow between 4 and 6 and receive your Rockies Tacos special.
Softest ball that Gonzalez hits in the game results in a base hit and an RBI. He had scalded the ball twice. It comes up with this. Ball got in on the hands, a little late cutter, jammed him, dumped it into the outfield. I thought if Rick Ankiel could have got a hold of this on that bounce, he lost a little grip on the baseball. He might have tried to make a play on Chacín at home plate.
And this gets away. Here comes Young. He'll score easily. 8-2. Well, Washington's playing an awful game. In particular, I shouldn't blame everybody else, but Livan Hernandez has not performed well. He's not fielded well.
Not what you normally get from him. Normally you get a very well pitched game. You get a great job of fielding. This is just slider just kept running on Ramos and caught it off the end of the glove. With EY running, there's no shot. You're not going to have a play there.
A wild pitch now on Hernandez brings in another run. 2-0 on Tulowitzki. Again, a double and a sac fly tonight for Troy.
He's 9th. Due up 9th in the order next inning, so that gives you a chance. You see those big numbers at Coors Field, 4 and 7, and earned run average near 7.
And a base hit for Tulowitzki. Gonzalez around third, and Keel's throw is not going to get it. 9-2 Colorado. Tulowitzki with his 2nd RBI of the evening. He's got 77.
Another hanger. That ball's up into the air. Davy Johnson just no choice now. 9 hits, 9 runs. They've made an error behind it. A sloppy game all the way around. Livan will hand the ball and head to the dugout.
So Hernandez goes 3 2/3, and the ERA at Coors Field rises above 7. 9-2 Rockies.
4th inning yet, thanks to an onpouring of offense by the Colorado Rockies here. And George Frazier wanted to know how many home run balls you have caught. So you ask and you shall receive, George. I'm over here with Danny Wood of Denver. And Danny, you catch Chris Ionetta's home run. You didn't even have to move. That one went right into your glove.
It was right in my seat. I did have to stand up. That was my 21st on the fly. And I have about 40 total.
40 total. Now, normally you don't sit in this seat, from what I understand. You're normally down in seat 1. So are you going to continue to sit in this one?
I doubt it. We'll probably switch back.
Now, there's a lot of ball hawks out here in center field. I know that you have to compete with these guys, but you must love sitting out here. You constantly get so many souvenirs, according to what you're saying.
We do. It's great. We enjoy batting practice also.
Now, your cell phone is blowing up with texts and calls. I imagine it's going to be even worse than this. There's 2 outs in the inning. The Rockies have put on 5 runs in this one. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Good. Go Rockies.
All right, guys, back to you.
Well, Tom Gorzolani comes aboard. And it looked a lot like Livan Hernandez before he departed. First pitch, Helton singles to left. Congratulations, Mr. Wood, his 21st catch of a home run.
Well, left on left, he got a ball away from Todd Helton. Todd Helton slid it through the left side and a base hit.
10th man to hit in the inning. Or 11th man, excuse me. No, 10th man, I'm sorry. Getting confused. It's Wigginton who led off with a home run. One and one. Wigginton against left-handers. A .329 batting average. .238 against righties this year. You know, Wigginton with 14 home runs, George, that's 3rd among National League third basemen.
He did a really nice job. I mean, everybody's all over him the game that he made a few errors. But, you know, it came back and all of a sudden he's playing really good baseball.
There's the splits we were talking about. Livan looking on. 2 balls and a strike now. Gorzolani in relief of Hernandez. This is fouled off over the Rockies dugout, 2-2. Well, the Rockies have gotten production from Ty Wigginton. Obviously, Ian Stewart's had a forgettable year. So you put everything together, and the Rockies have the lowest batting average in the National League of third baseman, .217. And not a lot of ribbies, 41, that's 14th. On base percentage, 2nd from last. And that's a power position. That has always been, George, an offensive position. Gorzolani strikes out Wigginton. Rockies have a huge inning. They score 5 runs. And they lead it 9-2 as we go to the 5th. A couple of home runs. Wigginton and Ionetta hitting solo shots in the 4th. Time for the Excel Energy High Efficiency inning. Come back off the bat of Levon Hernandez, and then ground ball to second. Chelsea will get another ground ball. Our Excel Energy High Efficiency inning brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. So Chassin with the big lead, 9-2. Rockies have out hit the Nationals 10-3. 1-1 count on Rick Ankiel. 0 for 1 and a walk. Carlos Gonzalez in right makes a catch. Danny Espinosa coming up. AT&T trivia question. Who's the only person to be enshrined in both Cooperstown and Canton? Cal Hubbard. He played tackle for 3 teams in the NFL and was a big league umpire. Espinosa 0 for 2, ball 1. That's down the left field line. Espinosa runs pretty well, and he's going to get second with a double. Juan Nicasio again, a fracture of the C1 vertebrae, had surgery late last night, and he's resting comfortably. He has complete movement of his extremities. There was no spinal cord damage at all. And Keith Duggar and Scott Garrett, the 2 trainers for the Rockies, Keith Duggar the head trainer, met the media earlier, and right after this first pitch to Ryan Zimmerman, we'll hear a little bit more from Keith Duggar. This is Keith when asked about when he would pitch again.
Best case scenario, we'll get him throwing in spring training. He's starting for our club.
Question actually was when or if he would pitch again. And again, there's not data to look back and say, oh yeah, remember that guy Steve Jones with the Cardinals who had the same injury back in 1998, and he came back in 4 months or 6 months or 10 months, or they couldn't find anybody in baseball who had ever suffered a C1 fracture right at the very base of the neck.
Now, like I said at the start of the telecast, let's just get out and have a normal life first. Baseball will come. If it comes, it comes.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, I guess you have to ask the question, will they ever get back on the mound again? My question is he going to get up and walk out of that bed, and what kind of life is he going to be able to lead after that type of surgery?
And that prognosis, again, from what we heard today, is excellent, which is, to your point, George, absolutely most important. 2-2 on Ryan Zimmerman, a single and a walk. 1 out. Espinosa's at second. That's fouled off. Oh, nice catch in the stands just to our right. You know what? The fans flashing leather everywhere. Must be contagious, George, at the fantasy camp reunion game this morning. Were there this many good catches in the fantasy camp game, George?
Absolutely. They made great catches. Left field, foul territory. Up here, fair territory. Is that what you're asking me about the great catches? I'm sorry, I was talking to our producer, Mike Fox.
No, in fantasy camp, how'd they do today?
You know, I left in about after an hour into the ball game, and it was tied 4-4 with a whole bunch of stuff going on. A lot of base hits, a lot of guys, a lot of walks. You remember the guy that got hit right in the lips? Remember that on the fly ball to right field? Folks, this was ugly. Knocked out a bunch of teeth. I mean, it was bad. First thing I said to him, I said, let me see your lip, because he has a big mustache now. He said, it's great. I'm doing good. Doing really good. Trace and Dak talking it over, trying to figure out where they would go into the bullpen right now. The walks continue. Pitch counts at 90. You got to prepare for what's going to happen 2 or 3 hitters down.
Michael Morse, an RBI double his last time. Well, for those of you that are late to our broadcast tonight, Juan Nicasio, who was hit last night, broke his C1 vertebrae. Keith Duggar explains more about last evening.
CT scan revealed that he had a fracture at the C1 vertebrae. Basically, he had a blowout fracture, and it showed he had some bleeding on the right side of his face. So they put 2 screws in the vertebrae and a small plate in the back of his head. Juan knew of all the options that he had a choice of. He wanted surgery immediately, and this was also his best case option to get him back, so he's pitching someday.
Again, that's Keith Duggar, who's the outstanding head trainer of the Colorado Rockies. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's bounced through the hole. Morse has another hit. Espinosa around third. He'll score. And it's 9-3. And Rob Apodaca again to the mound.
Well, obviously, it could be one of those games at Coors Field. It's not that these pitchers are that poorly positioned. That was a good fastball down. Greg Reynolds, the late addition. He's the guy up down in the bullpen for the Rockies right now, getting loose. If Nicasio can't shut this down, they're inning down with 1 run and 1 out in.
A couple of roster moves today. Greg Reynolds recalled for the 4th time this year. Spilborghs goes to the DL. Plantar fasciitis. By the way, Alfredo Meza was traded to Florida for a minor league infielder, Jesus Mershon. Meziga, who's played both for the Rockies and Marlins in the past, now going back to Florida. Jason Worth a double and a walk. Chassin trying to get 2 more outs. He's not thinking about a win, but he's thinking about getting his team to the dugout. And it could be one of those deals where it's going to be 5 and fly, but you got the big lead. You just want to make sure you have that opportunity to get a victory. It's been a while for him. It's just bounced up the middle. Tough chance for Nelson. And out at first base. Worth runs well. He's a long strider. That's played by Chris Nelson. 2 outs.
Really nice play, because coming over the top and a little off balance, your momentum's heading towards the third base dugout. You're throwing it back to the first base dugout, and you know you've got speed at the plate. On a soft tapper, you got to get rid of it in a hurry, and that's exactly what he did, and it was a bang play. Worth thought he was safe. Great play.
Johnny Gomes, recently acquired by the Nationals right around the trade deadline from Cincinnati.
It's such a close play there. Glad it went in the Rockies' favor.
I think James Hoy got it right. I think the spikes had not quite come down. James Hoy. 2-strike count on Johnny Gomes. Swung on and missed. Jacin looks off in disgust, but he gets a strikeout of Gomes. A run in the inning for the Nationals. 9-3 Colorado, middle of 5. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. And by King Soopers, more value for the way you live. On a gorgeous night, a beautiful city. Rockies at Coors Field leading the Nationals 9-3. Chris Nelson's going to lead things off for Colorado. 0 for 2 tonight. Tom Gorzolani got the final out of the 4th inning in relief of Livan Hernandez. This is bounce foul. Gorzolani gave up a hit initially to Helton, then struck out Wigginton. Rockies got 4 in the 3rd, 5 in the 4th. 9 runs on 10 hits. That will make you dance away. It comes at your ankles. It's a line, George, that I know pitchers use. That everybody talks about pitching inside. I think they think, oh, you got to come up and in. There's a line about move their feet.
Absolutely, works just as well. Move their feet, disrupt where their stance are, disrupt them being comfortable. That's what you're trying to accomplish as a pitcher. And as hot as Chris has been swinging the bat, why wouldn't you try to do something to disrupt it? Last night he turned a 98-mile-an-hour fastball around for a base hit and drove in a run in the game.
Yeah, he had a rocket up the middle. 2-2. That was a huge point in that baseball game because there were 2 outs. It looked like the Rockies may lose a golden opportunity to score, and it led to 3 more 2-out hits, or 2 more 2-out hits after that.
Just keep an inning alive, keep things going.
That was against Henry Rodriguez, whose fastball sits about 99 miles an hour. 3-2. Gorzolani working to Nelly. And it's fisted to second. Espinosa makes the play. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Wow, another gorgeous sunset. See, you come to Coors Field, come to watch the Rockies play. Beautiful ballpark, and typically, you know, if you're positioned right, you're going to see a gorgeous sunset as well.
The night's over too also for Yoelis Chacín. Ellis in the on deck circle, Reynolds still continuing to throw. Pitch count had reached 100, so at that point I think Jim Tracy knew it was a struggle to get through 5. The Rockies bullpen take care of this game. He can pick up a win, his 9th of the season.
You know, sometimes we'll talk about a hitter being put by the baseball guys, 2 line drives at somebody, and then invariably they'll hit a blooper. Like Cargo tonight, 2 balls hit hard, turned into outs, and he gets a blooper that drives in a run and a base hit. Well, the last 2 starts for Chacín, no decisions. Espinosa's going to throw out Iannetta. Good play. Last 2 starts, you know, Jolis pitched wonderfully. You deserve a win, right?
Got a pat on the back.
Tonight you got to think he's going to get a win, and obviously he didn't pitch that well.
No, he didn't pitch that well tonight, but it's you know what? Take the sloppy wins with them any way you can get them. Wins are hard to get at this level at the big leagues. Wins are hard to get at any level. You may not pitch extremely well, but you still walk out with your club on top 9-3. That's the key to it. He had a lot of traffic, but he was able to pitch out of it.
One 1-0 on Mark Ellis, pinch hitting. And Mark lines a single to center field. That's good to see. That's the first career pinch hit for Mark Ellis. He hasn't done a lot of that. I mean, he was a starter.
Well, plus being in
Oakland.
Plus being in the American League too. I mean, 16 times he's pinch hit, 1 hit now out of those 16 opportunities.
And a good feeling also for Mark because he's been struggling with the bat the last week or so. Phil Rizzuto, our Geico, he said it. Geico quote of the day: "I'll take any way to get into the Hall of Fame. If they want a bat boy, I'll go in as a bat boy." Well, Phil, you got in as a player. The Scooter. Eric Young scored a couple runs tonight, and this is on the ground to Desmond. He flips to Espinosa. Rockies done in the 5th inning. They will carry a 9-3 lead to inning number 6. It is time for our Cooney Lexus look back. Rockies in the 3rd inning would get 4 runs. There's a bunt with 2 men on. Watch Livan Hernandez kind of just lobs it toward Michael Morse and ends up in right field. Iannetta would score. And then Dexter Fowler would whip a triple to right. His 11th triple of the year. Chacín and Ewai score. Ty Wigginton led off the next inning with a home run against Livan Hernandez, his 14th of the year. And then Chris Ionnet, a couple hitters later, he would hit his 12th of the year. Carlos Gonzalez would lob one to short center field for a base hit, driving in Chacín. He had a hit, and then a wild pitch. You get the picture. Washington and Livan Hernandez struggling as Tulowitzki has his second ribby of the ball game. That's our Cooney Lexus look back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. 9-3 Colorado. Chacín in line for the victory, but he goes just 5 innings. He was spraying the fastball again tonight. And Greg Reynolds up, George, for the 4th time this year. Former number 2 pick in the 06 draft.
Well, and again, I talked to him a little bit how you throwing good. Arm feels great. You know, it's such a tough spot for a pitcher to pitch at Colorado Springs because of the light air, the ball flies, wind blows out most of the time at their park, so you get a high earned run average with it. So you just really concentrate on throwing strikes and making your pitches. Now, the best case scenario here for Greg Reynolds tonight and for the Rockies, go these final 4 innings. You got a 6-run lead. You've been stretched out. You've worked deep into games. That would be the best case scenario for the Rockies and Greg Reynolds to work deep this game. Try to complete it and finish it.
And the curveball hit the second. And Ian Desmond is retired. That'll bring up Wilson Ramos. It's our Toyota Talk inning. We asked you your favorite seeds. You know, there's so many things that are synonymous with baseball, and one of them is the chewing of sunflower seeds. Original salted. Cheddar cheesy jalapeno poppers. Haven't seen that brand. I like chili lime. They're not bad. Cracked pepper right now is my favorite, but it's subject to change every couple of months. A lot of folks wishing Juan Nicasio well. I'm told that he's going to rest in the hospital for a few days to the first part of the week. And again, as we get updates, we'll continually pass those along. For those that have ever had a neck injury or neck surgery, he's not in a halo after the surgery last night to put a couple of pins in a plate in that C1 fracture. He's going to have the neck immobilized for approximately 6 weeks, is what we've been told. That's a strikeout of Ramos. He'll get the pins out in a couple of weeks. Dill pickle addicting. See, there's somebody else, George, who likes cracked pepper.
Yeah, I'm a plain guy. I really like the plain, just plain old-fashioned plain seeds.
Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. It's going to sneak through, and it's a hit for Gorzolani. That'll bring up Rick Ankiel. Rick's 0 for 2 and a walk. See, Lauren's like you in the spring. She just eats original.
Tell you what, you eat a lot of seeds here in Colorado. If you eat the original, you're going to drink a lot of water.
Do you remember?
They're pretty salty.
Yeah. Do you remember? It was a couple, probably 3-4 years ago. We had one of the Rockies mic'd up. I don't know if it was Spilborgs or who it was, and he's teaching. I'll put that in quotations. Jeff Francis had to chew seeds, had to crack it with your. You know, work the seed with your tongue and then crack it with your teeth and eat the seed, spit out the shell.
Drew, to be honest with you, it's just so you know what that's called. It's called the split and spit. In baseball term dugout.
Split
terminology.
Okay, exactly. But how can Jeff Francis get all the way to the big leagues and be in the big leagues for several years and not, I mean, Little League baseball.
Maybe Spilly might have just been making fun of Jeff.
No, Jeff didn't know. I asked, he didn't know how to spit seeds. He didn't know how to chew seeds. I couldn't believe it. How do you get that far, George? I mean, that's a prerequisite, isn't it, to get on a diamond?
The amazing thing was in '07 that people actually bought the sunflower seeds that Matt Holliday spit on the outfield and left field.
Yeah, Matt would go through like 3 packs a game. He still does, so he's got a pack in the back pocket. 1-2. High fly ball, deep right field. Ankiel has hit this one out against Greg Reynolds. Way out. That lands in the second deck. A 2-run home run for Ankiel, his 7th of the year, his 4th home run this week. 9-5 now.
Yeah, it's talking about putting this game down, and you may all of a sudden one swing of the bat, and that's what happens. One swing, and all of a sudden it's a 4-run ball game instead of a 6-run ball game, and that's what you have to be careful with their power and long ball ability throughout their lineup. Gut shot fastball about belt high, and it's out of the yard in right field. Cleared the bullpen, got all the way up into that second deck out there.
And there's a base hit to left center field by Espinosa. Young with his great speed. He's going to keep it from going to the wall, but it's still an easy double for Espinosa.
I'll tell you what, that's a great play by EY. Because of his speed, he prevented that from being a triple because Espinosa can fly. He was able to make a slide stop on the baseball and get the ball back in, and this time a very accurate throw into Tulowitzki. But you run a gamble here. You can see Fowler's going to converge at the same time. He's coming in from the right of your screen, and then the angle taken by EY, able to stop, get to his feet, and then hit Tulowitzki with a throw. That prevented that ball getting to the wall.
Ryan Zimmerman at the plate. Well, you make a mistake to this guy, George, and you got a real ball game on your hands. 9-5. Zimmerman a single and 2 walks. Chacin goes 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits. He walked 4. That's a problem. 4 strikeouts. This ball lined to deep right field. Cargo is not going to have a play off the very top of the wall. Espinosa comes home, back-to-back doubles, and it's 9-6. Bob Apodaca, he might as well call for a golf cart. He's made so many trips to the mound tonight.
Exactly right. Slider that just hung up into the zone. That was not down in the outer half of the plate where Reynolds wanted to try to put this pitch. Strong guy at the plate. Hit this ball off of the wall. Cargo went back on it thinking he'd have a play on it, but either way you're going to get a double. Not much after that.
Two great young players. Ryan Zimmerman, a third baseman. Troy Tulowitzki, a shortstop. Greg Reynolds got the first 2 men in the inning, and then a single by the pitcher, Gorzolani. Keep that in mind. He had a pitcher up there, bounce one up the middle, seeing eye hit. Ankiel a long 2-run home run, and then Espinosa double, Zimmerman a double, and now Michael Morse, who's 2 for 3, including 2 ribbies.
Well, the next call down to the bullpen, more than likely, is going to end up being Matt Belisle, or either that or Rex Brothers, one of the two. Let's try to finish up this inning, try to get into the deepest part of this game as he can get.
Morse has set new career highs in every offensive category this year. And he's got a base hit, and this is going to drive in another run. Zimmerman will score, and it's now 9-7. You have a 2-run ball game. And Jim Tracy, you can't go get Greg Reynolds right now because there's nobody ready to go. That guy's milling around, but this has happened very quickly. And there's Matt Belisle almost sprinting to one of the 2 bumps out there in the bullpen. That is 5 straight hits.
16 pitches, 5 hits, and 4 runs. Not what Greg Reynolds had hoped for as he came to this park today.
Jason Worth representing the tying run. And the Nationals coming into the ball game, one of the lowest team batting averages in the National League. That's a strike. 0-2. The only team hitting for a lower average in the National League, the Padres. And the Padres scored a bunch of runs yesterday. 13 runs today in the 9th inning. They're beating up the Pirates 13-2. Ever since the Pirates lost that controversial 19-inning game against Atlanta, as that one misses, they have been in a tailspin.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle's ball club just has not played good baseball. They made some changes to try to help that ball club. Made a couple of trades. They picked up Lee to play first base. Unfortunately, that's just gone the other way.
They're about to lose their 9th in a row. It's a great story this year that's hit a big bump in the road here in late July, early August. Toyota Talk will continue in the post-game show. 187 out on the road. Tough first year in D.C. for Jason Worth. Since that 19-inning game, assuming the Pirates lose tonight, which they're down 11 in the 9th inning, I think pretty safe to say. They're 1-11 since that 19-inning game.
Well, what's worse, those last two ball games, the pitching staff's given up 28 runs. 15 yesterday, 13 today.
This is fouled off, out of play again. We've seen a lot of comfortable hacks. Obviously, good results for Washington, but a lot of comfortable hacks right now against Greg Reynolds. Bilal warms up quickly. He's standing and watching right now, so it looks like Matt's ready to go if needed. 5 straight hits, 4 runs in the inning. 2-2. Run will be going. Here's the 3-2, and it's on the ground to third. Wigginton will have to go the long way. And the inning finally over. 5 straight hits, 4 runs in the 6th. And the Nationals back in the game, 9-7. Dexter Fowler, Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki in the 6th inning. Tonight's Fast Cash Sideline Reports brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Alana?
All right, guys, thanks very much. In light of what happened last night with Juan Nicasio, the question naturally has come up about whether or not pitchers should wear protective headgear when they're on the hill. So I asked both starting pitcher Aaron Cook and Greg Reynolds what their thoughts were on that very subject. And Aaron Cook said, you know what, there are a lot of close calls. You remember Aaron Cook's leg was broken last year off a line drive off of Joey Votto's bat. He said there's a lot of close calls, but it is part of baseball. And when asked about the protective headgear, he said if they want to make it an optional opportunity, that's one thing, but I, for one, would not want to wear it. When you've played baseball as long as these guys have, it's very difficult to adjust to something like that. He said it's about comfort level, and Greg Reynolds said the exact same thing. He said if there was some sort of protective headgear, I might think more about it. He too said, you know what, there have been a lot of close calls. And Frage, I wanted to ask you about it a little bit too. Obviously, you spent your entire career as a relief pitcher. You were on the hill very often. What is your thought on that? Should pitchers be required to wear protective headgear?
Well, you know what? I think it'd be too difficult to pitch in it, Alana. And the other side of it is, I mean, I've gotten hit before, and what I did the next spring, they always have the L screen up in front of you in early batting practice, and to help me get through all that, I just took screen down. I said, I'm going to be throwing batting practice, not full speed game stuff, but I said I'm going to take it down because I want to be able to react to this baseball. I don't want to get comfortable with that screen in front of me. It's a freak accident that happened in a ball game, and boy, just hopefully it never happens again.
One out for Gorzolani in the 6th. Carlos Gonzalez 1 for 3, drove in his 57th run in the 4th inning. Fargo back in the 3 spot in the batting order. The Rockies are 24 and 27 when he hits 3rd. This is the 52nd time this year. And he has 33 games leading off. The club's 17 and 16. Helton, when he hit 3rd, club 26 and 25. 14 and 21 is the 5-hole hitter. That's where he is tonight. One and 2 on Cargo. Boy, you just miss seeing him every day. The smile at the clubhouse, the bounce in his step, and obviously what he does between the lines.
Well, I think it just gives your whole club a lift. When you see him in uniform and see him perform in the field. But I just really hope hitting 3rd continues the success it did 1st. There's the injury. Ran into, that's a metal post back there that he ran right into full blast. Then when he had that one great big swing against Atlanta, that follow through didn't make solid contact.
Look at Zimmerman. No, safe at first. Morse came off the bag.
It looked like that throw from Zimmerman cut on him a little bit, and he had to come off to catch the baseball. Morse, big guy. I'll watch that one more time, and the angles you'll see it on right off the end of the bat against the left-hander. He takes it, and as he strides out to get to that baseball, it's pulled off the bag by the throw of Zimmerman to keep that from getting down the right field line.
So an infield hit for Gonzalez. And Tulowitzki at the plate. Whoa! They just gave Zimmerman an error on that. That's a tough error.
You know what? I'm not going to write it down right now because I got a feeling that's going to get changed.
Yeah. I mean, he did everything right, and the throw. I mean, that's not an easy play. That's not an everyday play. Zimmerman's a Gold Glover at 3rd. You got a plus runner. He's sprinting toward the baseball, gloving, throwing in one motion. And I'm sure Zimmerman's upset because he's hard on himself like Tulowitzki. Expects to make every play, but that's an infield hit to me. 1-1 inside. Would agree. Watch Zimmerman. He's playing obviously deep. Circles, comes hard. It's an off-balance throw.
It's a base hit.
That's a base hit.
Well, upgrade your game experience in the Mountain Ranch Club. Includes private dining tables and a credit for food and beverage. So make that phone call, 303 Rockies, and go sit up there and have a great meal and watch some good baseball.
Tulowitzki deep left center field, and this one is going to kick off the corner of the wall. Gonzalez coming around with the Rockies' 10th run. Stay hot, Troy Tulowitzki. Another 3-hit ball game. His second double of the night, his third ribby.
Yeah, you know, the Rockies may have caught a little break here, too, because we've seen this bounce up into the seats an awful lot. Then you'd have second and third with Todd Helton at the plate. That's not always a bad situation, but this ball here jumps up, catches the top of the fence, comes back into the ballpark, and by then, Gonzalez was able to score.
Tulowitzki safe at second, safe and secure. New York life. What's the argument here, that there was fan interference?
Sure it is.
Davey Johnson's been battling a really bad cold. He's feeling better the last couple of days. When he arrived, he could barely speak. And he said that he's going to have a designated yeller for the umpire.
See that? No,
you know what? He just is cheering. Watch this. He's just cheering. I think he is. That's nowhere close to him.
No,
he wasn't within 10 feet of that. George, stand up. You got the big voice. Yell to the group down there.
Okay.
Tell them, hey, we just watched. It's not even close.
It's not close. That's right.
You know, obviously it looks like he may have touched it, but the other angle shows that he's nowhere near it. He just happened to be cheering at the same moment that the ball in the picture was at the same height as his arm. Now, if you don't see it definitively, I don't know how you can flip this thing around. This is a great angle of it. He's nowhere near it. The next guy with the beard's nowhere near it either. And they're not going to mess with it. And that's the right call.
Davies 0 for 5 in this series so far in arguments with umpires. 4 of the 5 been on check swings. Balls at the plate area.
Todd Helton base hit to left field his last time up. 1 out. Tulowitzki at second. 10-7 Colorado. Breaking ball for a strike. Dodgers beating Arizona tonight 4-2 down in Phoenix. They're in the 7th inning. Another slider. 2-1.
Sam Horizon, normally up here with us in the booth running home plate. High home camera. Ooh, I love it.
Oh, play by Zimmerman. And they'll get the double play on Tulowitzki.
Sammy, wish you well, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. Had rotator cuff surgery. Nice play by Zimmerman.
10-7 Colorado. Sammy, come back and get to your rightful spot in the booth quickly. So the first Rockies player did a grand slam this year. And Jason Hamill and his wife will introduce you to the dogs. They spend a lot of time with dogs that help others. It's a good piece. That's coming up on Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. That's tomorrow after the ball game. Georgia, upon further review, the official score has done what we thought was the prudent thing to do.
Let me guess, base hit?
Yeah, taking the error away from the Gold Glover Ryan Zimmerman and giving Carlos Gonzalez an infield hit. And you did the prudent thing. You didn't mark.
Well, I didn't mark error. Coming back. That's right. 51st appearance for Matt Belisle. Worked 3 great innings the other day when he had to eat up some in a blowout. Going to come in here now, try to work the 7th inning, work 1 inning, and then I'm sure they'll turn it over to Betancourt and then on the street to try to close the ball game out.
0-1, Belisle working Johnny Gomes. Gomes 0 for 2 and a walk. Gomes seeing Desmond Wilson Ramos. This is popped up right side. Helton and Nelson. If your windshield has issues, call Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Austin native Matt Belisle. Big outdoorsman. And all around good guy.
Really good guy. He really is. And you mentioned outdoorsman. He is just that. Loves to fish, loves to hunt.
Spends a lot of time hunting with the first baseman. 1-1 on Desmond. 4 hits last night. Tonight 0 for 3. He's about to be 0 for 4. Two gone. Wilson Ramos coming up. Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts, we'd be sending them to you right now because the Rockies have scored 7 runs or more for the Rockies Taco Special. To receive that, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Make sure you go to Taco Bell tomorrow between 4 and 6 for your Rockies Taco Special. Here's the 0-1, 1-1. Ramos hitting .322 at Nationals Park, 189 out on the road. Deep right field, Cargo going back, and he'll play it off the wall and hold. Look at that throw. Hold Ramos to a single. Does it really matter what outfield position he lines up in?
What I like about it, he didn't try to run into the wall and catch it.
I would concur.
That's what I was watching. Float back, watch. Don't have to be spectacular. You got a 3-run lead. Make the play and let the pitcher trust him. He's going to get somebody out. A deep fly ball to right. See, Cargo's going to pull up. All right, not going to be able to climb the wall to get this thing. But then the throw back in on the money. Cora's going to pinch hit, as he did the other day.
Cora lines it foul. Jim Tracy was telling a story about Alex Cora when he managed him in Los Angeles. And we've told you before, Tracy just adores Cora. That's one day if he wants to manage in the big leagues, he'll manage in the big leagues. Great understanding of the game. Great leader, communicator, etc. And he's a very tough guy. And he said Cora slides into second and hurts his neck badly. It was kind of a collision at second base. They had to help him off the field, and it really looked like a bad deal. The next day, he's in Tracy's office. He wanted in. He wanted to play the next day. Pinch single for Cora. And that'll bring up Rick Ankiel, representing the tying run. And his last time up, he hit one in the second deck in right.
Well, last time we got a fastball hung out over the plate. He hit it out of the ballpark. So now Belisle's going to have to figure out a way to get through this thing. The right side ground ball extended the inning of Cora. There's that fastball running away, but it elevated. A belt-tie fastball, and Keel hit this ball a long ways above the Rockies bullpen and into that second deck here at Coors Field.
Two 2-0 on Rick Ankiel. Reynolds goes one inning, by the way, 4 runs, 5 hits. Did not walk a batter, struck one man out. Chacin again, the pitcher record on the plus side, 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, 4 punch outs, 2-1. Both teams in double figures in hits. Nationals have a dozen hits tonight. They had 15 last night. Ooh, 3-1.
Low ball has not been called tonight by Bill Miller. Ford strike zone said that ball was a strike.
3-2 with 2 outs. Ramos and Cora will be in motion. The dangerous Rick Ankiel at the plate. And a ground ball to second. Chris Nelson.
Look at Belial hustling. Here, Seaman, bottom of your screen, backing that throw up because he knows Iannetta has to stay at the plate in case of a wild throw. Heads up baseball.
Freeze cam. Ty Wigginton at the plate in the 4th inning. That's called squaring it up. And when he squares it up, the ball stays hit for a while. Ty Wigginton his 14th home run in that 4th inning. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. This is Todd Coffey in the ball game.
You might remember him when he came over for the Brewers. This big, strong right-hander had a really, really good arm. He's bounced around a little bit with a couple of different clubs, now making his 47th appearance in a Nationals uniform. 395 overall earned run average. He's very, very workhorse coming out of a bullpen. He's not scared to take the baseball. He can pitch multiple innings at times. 4 home runs given up in 43 1/3. That's really good coming out of the bullpen, particularly in games like this where you're trying to contain the opposition to give your team a chance.
Tom Gorzolani goes 2 1/3. He gives up a run on 4 hits, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 1 for Davey Johnson tonight. 1-0 on Wigginton. Wigginton quietly has been throwing out hits on a regular basis, 5 for his last 10, in fact. And a bouncer to Ryan Zimmerman. Tell you what, all good fielders, George, you know what they have? They have good feet.
Yeah, really put themselves in great position to do it. I just watched that throw. That's kind of an awkward throw out of the top for him.
He just kind of guided it over there, but
he got him out.
He just moves quickly and quietly with the feet.
Well, August 21st is Faith Day, presented by Golden Spoon Frozen Yogurt. Fans at the game will receive a free frozen yogurt card valid at any other 5 locations.
Chris Nelson. Chris hitless in 3 at-bats. Rocky's taking a long look now at Chris Nelson. Eric Young's had a lot of playing time in left. And another chance for Zimmerman. Two gone. Chris Iannetta will take his turn against Todd Coffey. Iannetta single and a home run in 3 visits to home plate tonight. And Chris has another hit. Back-to-back 3-hit ball games for Iannetta. And that'll bring up Ian Stewart. He'll pinch hit for Matt Belisle.
Sinker, that's what Coffey's got. Good hard sinker down in the bottom half of the zone. And it's going to have to be a backhand quick throw by Desmond, but doesn't get scoots under the glove for a base hit.
Chris is 10 for his last 18. Chris with the 3 hits tonight has got the average up to 242. And you couple that with the 60 walks he has. And he's got an on-base percentage, believe it or not, George, close to 390. And this ball is ripped to right by Stewart. And Iannetta's going to go first to third.
How about that laser?
That's the Ian Stewart we remember from the previous few years. Yeah, he's going to strike out some, but
the key to
he has the ability to hit the ball.
The key
really
to the whole
hard.
thing is a pinch hitter coming off the bench. 9 out of 10 times you're going to get fastball first pitch. Be ready for it. You know what a 92-mile-an-hour fastball looks like. Be prepared for it. Well, he was. He had a shot right at Jason Worth.
His first pinch hit this year for Stewart. First and third. Junior's at the plate. 1 for 3 and a sac bunt. Boston returned the favor on the Yankees tonight. They beat them at Fenway 10-4. Boston has lost just 2 times this year to the Yankees. 9-2. Betancourt's up for the Rockies. Sean Burnett, a lefty for the Nationals. And this ball is a base hit to right. Here comes Iannetta. Stewart to third. Ewise trying to go to second. He will easily. Todd Coffey got Wigginton and Nelson. And then 3 straight hits, and the Rockies have 11 on the board.
Yeah, finishing out an inning. That's what you're calling about. Close out that inning. Well, Coffey didn't do that. You mentioned it. 3 straight base hits, all singles, and all hustle run. I call them hustle runs because Iannetta goes first to third, and that allowed him to score on this base hit. And now all of a sudden you got second and third, and because of the speed of Young. Base hit scores 2 more here and expand a little farther. Davey Johnson says, no, ain't going to happen with Coffey up. I'm going to my bullpen, get my last left-hander out of there to come on to face Dexter Fowler, even if it's to flip him over right-handed. So Burnett had been warming up the left-hander. Davey's going out to the mound. We'll see if that's what's going to happen here, if he's going to just have a conversation and walk back.
Sean Burnett will come on. Rockies leading 11-7. you can make the world your workplace. The Rockies got 9 runs between the 3rd and 4th inning. Chacin kind of battled command issues to work 5 innings. And Washington at one point got within 2 runs, 9-7. The Rockies have tacked on a run in the 6th and now a run in the 7th. 16 hits tonight for Colorado. 6 hits the last 2 ball games for Chris Iannetta. That's the Ecotech game summary. So Dexter Fowler will come up and he'll face the veteran lefty Sean Burnett.
Those same numbers you're looking at, that's what Davey Johnson was looking at versus lefties. 221, 3 home runs, but not many at bats as there has been against right-handers, where that average has climbed to 284 with 3 home runs allowed. This is all Sean Burnett going against left-handers. Now Dexter Fowler. We'll see what he's going to have to do. They bring in the lefty on righty. But that's a high average for Burnett against left-handers, 284.
Well, again, that's against righties.
Yeah, against right-handers, but 284 with the 3. But the left-handers, I thought, well, he's a sinker ball guy. He runs the ball away from everybody. Typically get the ball on the ground.
This is pulled in the hole, a base hit for Fowler. Eric Young following Stewart to the plate. 2-run single for Dexter. Make it 13-7.
Dexter with 2 more RBIs today, 4 on the night for Dexter. Have a big night, Dexter Fowler. Well, there's that slider down and in, and it's in the strike zone. Dexter waited to that backside, a slight leg kick, and they just drove it as their outfield playing extremely deep to prevent a double over their head. So a long run to the baseball that allowed them to utilize EY's speed to score another run here, the 3rd run in the 7th inning.
Well, the book closed on Todd Coffey. He gets painted up 2/3 of an inning, 3 runs, 3 hits. Carr goes 2 for 4 in his return to the lineup, including an RBI. There's 4 RBIs for Dexter, George. A new single game career high.
Wow.
Well, he typically hits
Leadoff
first and
guy
second.
or 8th or 7th in the lineup.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Cargo's average sitting at 292. In the inning, the Rockies get 3 runs on 4 hits. 13-7. We go to the 8th. I think you all remember the Blake Street Bombers. Tonight, Rockies All Access takes a look back at the greatest sluggers in team history and find out what they're up to now. And you'll hear from several of the Blake Street Bombers as well. It's tonight after our Toyota postgame show, Rockies All Access. Good shot of Vinny Castilla there. Did you know that Vinny Castilla hit the first home run for the Nationals in their return to Washington at RFK Stadium? Ian Stewart stays in the ball game. He's at third, and Rafael Betancourt's going to handle the 8th inning. That opponent batting average keeps going down because Rafael's been pitching so well.
Strikeouts up. The walks looking very familiar to what it was a year ago. 43,034. Thought there was a pretty good crowd in here. The rock pile was.
Well, you shorted him, George. Look again.
43,030. Oh, 321. Sorry, it's the writing again. Doug.
Don't blame Doug. I read that fine. 43,321.
It's a New York penmanship. No wonder you read it.
Outside, ball one.
The only people I found that write better than Doug, doctors.
One and 0 on Danny Espinosa. A couple doubles tonight for Espinosa. Ground ball to Tulowitzki. Nice hands. Got to have soft hands if you want to be an infielder. Ball came up late.
He's had a few of those lip shots that have given him funny bounces. That ball wasn't a lip shot, but it was a funny bounce right at the very end. Ball shot up on it. Utilize that arm strength to throw the perfect strike over to first.
That's a really good look at it. Top defensive player at each position in baseball gets awarded through voting a Gold Glove by Rawlings. And Tulowitzki happens to use a Rawlings glove, and then what they do is they send you that gold emblem, because most people have seen Rawlings gloves, and the tag on it with their logo is red. The back of Troy's is gold. The back of Ryan Zimmerman's is gold, because he uses a Rawlings glove as well. Ryan Zimmerman, the third baseman for Washington. There's the gold emblem. You can't just go and buy those, George. You can't just go pick that off the shelf.
Sure can't.
Outside on Mr. Zimmerman, 2-1. "13 runs, 17 knocks tonight for the Rockies. 7 runs, 12 hits for Washington. Since coming down from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the Nationals have struggled more against the Rockies than any other team in the National League. In fact, you look at the last 22 games, the Rockies have won 17 of the encounters. Rockies played great at Nationals Park. They played well at Stade Olympique in Montreal. They were 26-26 there.
Never liked playing in that ballpark.
Strike 3 on Zimmerman. 94-mile-an-hour, well-located fastball by Rafael.
Well, because he's had the ability lately to show a pretty good slider at times and changeup, that's in the back of your mind, and then you have the ability to paint the heater right there. 52nd strikeout against 8 walks on the season for Rafael Betancourt. Big numbers, good numbers.
Michael Morse, 3 hits, 3 RBIs, 4 hits. How about this guy? I mean, is he one of the better stories in the National League this year?
Every year you get to see one of these type of stories, and this is pretty neat. And Don't like him seeing having all the success against the Rockies all of a sudden, but it is a neat story.
Since he took over at first base 70 games ago, he has the second highest OPS, that's on base percentage plus slugging percentage, of any first baseman in the game. The only guy who's higher, it's not Albert Pujols, folks, it's Miguel Cabrera of Detroit. And the last time I checked, he's an awfully good hitter. Jason Worth, 1 for 3 and a walk. Morse has got a chance to win a batting title. There's a lot of baseball left. Jose Reyes was hitting above 350, but he's come back down. It's kind of hard to keep your average there. He's in the mid 330s, at least he was at the start of the evening.
Well, be at Coors Field August the 17th, the Rockies Lottery of Mega Millions Day. That's right. Select fans will win prizes courtesy of the Colorado Lotteries. Make sure you get tickets for that on August 17th. The Florida Marlins are in town.
Speaking of the Marlins, they lost at home 2-1 to St. Louis today. Milwaukee won again 7-5 over Houston. Milwaukee's won 10 of 11. They're 3 games up on the Cardinals. Fouled off. 1-2. Pirates have fallen 9 back. In Cincinnati, where the Rockies are going tomorrow night, they lost to the Cubs 11-4. They're 9.5 back. That Central Division's changed in a hurry.
And a New York minute, as they like to say. You know, the team, as you mentioned, the Cubs starting to play a lot better baseball. They could really screw up a lot of things in September, because they'll have a lot of games with the Cardinals. They'll have a lot of games with Milwaukee.
Well, it looks like a 2-team race now all of a sudden. Milwaukee and St. Louis. And a week ago, it looked like a 4-team race. The Pirates and Cincinnati were involved.
And the Rockies still got, don't they still have a couple? We still got a couple of games left with Milwaukee. Is that true?
You go back
to Milwaukee for
Rockies
2 games.
Go back to Milwaukee. Well, even if it does, I don't think that's going to be available for a fielder. Dead heat now in the AL East with the Red Sox and Yankees. Tampa got beat tonight, so they're 11 off the pace, actually 10 off the pace, despite being 6 games over 500. Detroit beat Kansas City in Missouri tonight 4-3. And Texas leading 4-3 over Cleveland in the 8th inning. If that holds up, Detroit will be 5 up on Cleveland in the Central.
Daniel Slereth picked up the win yesterday, back in the big leagues after going down and making some adjustments, getting innings in at the AAA level.
Yeah, Daniel went 2 strong innings yesterday. Here's the 2-2, and that's fouled off. That's great to see for Daniel.
You know what it is great to see for Colorado baseball. You know, guys that played high school baseball here, and there's a lot of them now that are in the big leagues that are successful, but it's not like California, Texas, some of those places where they, you know, say the cream of the crop of all baseball players. It's nice to see guys out of Colorado. Even if it takes going to Arizona, going to Tennessee, going wherever you got to go to school, you're getting to the big leagues.
High 3-2. Daniel grew up a couple houses down from where we used to live. Remember
Yeah, you never got any, he already told me you never got any hits on him, so don't say you did. He told me he punched you out and whiffle ball. Really good. Threw that slurpy slider at you.
Yeah, he went to Highlands Ranch and on to UNLV. Had elbow surgery. And then we watched him pitch at Arizona.
Yep, sure did.
Along with the nervous mom and dad.
Every game, tear your gut out.
And his two sisters, 3-2 on Worth. Got it. Rafael Betancourt, another strong outing. 2 more punch outs. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies leading 13-7. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Rockies 13 and the Nationals 7. Welcome back inside Coors Field. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Alana Rizzo. Brian Bixler is now in right field.
And if something crazy happens in this game, he would hit in the 9th spot as Henry Rodriguez, who had a rough night the other night. He'll be making his 35th appearance here. But the other night didn't get an out, 3 hits, a run was charged to him. And 1 walk in that outing. Throws extremely hard. Saw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball the other night with him in the ball game. He'll face Tulowitzki here in the 8th.
Troy's perfect tonight, 3 for 3 and a sac fly. Double, the sac fly in the 3rd, single and an RBI, and a double and an RBI in the 6th. 3 ribbies tonight. Troy at 78. Came into the ball game 4th in the National League in driving him in. He had a quality hack there on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. I'd like to experience that just once, George.
What's that?
Throwing a ball 99 miles an hour.
Why? It's going to hurt to do it once. I mean, if your arm got used to it, it's a lot of fun. You know what? Thing about it, though, he's got a pretty good slider to go along with it. That was at 85. Great tilt down to the left turn in a hurry.
The 1st, the 2nd, and the 5th are the only runs or only innings the Rockies have not scored runs in.
Rex Brothers appears to be warming up down in the Rockies bullpen. Not a safe situation. Six-run separation going to the top of the ninth inning. Give him an opportunity to come out and get some work. Get going back on the positive side of things.
Tulowitzki's evening remains perfect. He'll walk here leading off the 8th inning. Todd Helton will walk to the plate.
There's Mr. Brothers. Suffered through a couple of growing pains the last couple of outings. That home run to lose the ball game to the Phillies. Shane Victorino. Then it came back a couple of nights later, gave up 2 more runs. That's all part of the growth period. And how he responds and comes and bounces right back at it.
Helton got flat robbed his last time up. He had a rocket. It was headed to the left field corner. It was going to be the 550th double of Todd's career, and Ryan Zimmerman ruined the whole thing. Here's Ryan.
Slice, and there it is. He jumped to get it, timed that perfectly, and then just to flip out to get Tulowitzki at second base. Not a lot you do about that if you're a base runner.
This ball is sliced to left field. John Gomes will make the play. All right, I'm going to ask you an etiquette question, George. A baseball etiquette question. Last night, in the brawl between the Giants and the Phillies, what, according to Ramon Ramirez, precipitated the brawl is the fact that Jimmy Rollins, in the 6th inning, with the Phillies up by 6 runs, 6th inning, stole a base. I personally don't have a problem with that. Now, in the 8th inning, that's a little bit different. But in the 6th inning, I think it's still fair game. Giants had 12 more outs to work with. What's your take on it as a player?
I disagree with you, because a 6-run lead with those 2 pitching staffs and in that ballpark, you haven't seen too many 7-run coming back on it. So for me, I think, and I'm a little old school guy. I mean, a 6-run lead in that ballpark, 6th inning and beyond, you're going to get hit.
Well,
that's just a difference of opinions. I mean, that's, you know, the game has changed so much offensively. There's another pinch hit by Smith. How about that? Imagine that happened.
Yeah, Mr. Pinch hit, Mr. Late Night. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Chris Nelson coming up, looking for his first hit tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll agree to disagree, because I think in the 6th inning, again with 12 outs still to go, you're right. The Giants at that park, typically, you know, it's hard to score that many runs, but
I also don't know what had preceded all of that either. There had been some words the first night in prior to that. You know, so it's a matter of how you take it, what you want to do with it. Just a matter of opinion of the game. I could say when I played on that field in the era of that I played in, it wasn't accepted. Today's era is more offensive-minded type era, so you know, maybe it is accepted. But I think you have an old school manager sitting over there too, and an old school pitching coach in Bochy and Righetti. I'm sure that played a role in it. I think. I mean, I wasn't there, so you know, it's tough. I'm just saying, personally, during the era I played, I think that's the way it probably would have been handled.
Two strikes on Nelson. That registered 101.
Well, that's cheap. 101 miles an hour. When was the last time we saw a guy 101? Was it Anderson in the Rockies uniform? Did he hit 101? Remember him, the reliever? Not only is it 101, it's rim branded right on the outside corner. Here's what you do. You look at him, you tip your cap, you go to the dugout. Nothing you can do about it.
2 outs. Chris Iannetta 3 for 4 tonight.
He's saying Chapman hit 101 with the Reds when he was here.
Well, this Chapman
the last guy.
He's hit 103 in the big leagues, but he had 101 here. Did Ubaldo touch 101? He had a bunch of hundreds. Craig House, George, remember Craig House?
Oh yeah. Well, Juan Murillo threw over 100 here. Then he tried to do it in Minnesota. Then he went to Japan. I think one ended up hurting his arm. Very big time arm about 5 years ago when he was in Tulsa. They were using him as a setup man. Just never developed into outs at the major league level. Made the team in, was it 09, wasn't it? Made the team in 09 out of spring training. He got released about a month in. Or traded, I should say, to Minnesota.
Ground ball through the left side, a base hit. Tulowitzki will stop at third. A 4-hit ball game for Iannetta.
Stay hot. Goodness. Isn't it nice to look up and see 19 hits for the Rockies? That's it. You know, it's just been so long since you haven't seen that kind of output come out of this lineup. So it's great to see this. Slider to Iannetta. Tops the baseball through the left side of the infield, and now Ian Stewart, who hit a laser to right field in his pinch hit appearance a minute ago before he went in to play third base, will get a shot at this 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Most hits in a game this year for the Rockies. They had 20 on July 15th against the Brewers. Four hits for Iannetta, ties a career high. Bases loaded for Stewart with 2 outs. It's another dart at 100.
That's a good way to put it. Another dart. I used to watch Gossage throwing those guys like Nolan Ryan. I used to call it, you've heard me say this before, it's like a half moon ball. You just saw it the top half of the ball when they'd be warming up. It's ridiculous how hard it is. And then try to hit it.
The last one, that's another 101.
Is that all that was?
I thought that was a freeway in LA.
You know, I saw you in Fantasy Cap last year. I thought you hit 101. We didn't have a gun. I mean, it was just strictly on my eyesight, but I thought you hit 101.
I think you're right if you added 3 in a row up.
Not true. Not true at all.
That misses. It's 3-0 on Stewart. All this 100 and 101 are great, but he has
kind of what we looked like the other night, right? I mean,
yeah.
3 guys got on base with 3 base hits and a walk and a run scores. Then all of a sudden they're like, uh-oh, timeout. What do we do now?
He faced 4 hitters the other night. George didn't get anybody out. 3 hits and a walk. He's about to walk in a run. He just did. Stewart on 4 pitches gets his 5th RBI on a bases loaded walk. Here comes Tulowitzki with the Rockies' 14th run.
He's not making any friends with home plate umpire Bill Miller either with the stare downs at the plate. I can tell you that right now. Let's see if McCaddy defends his pitcher and says something to the umpire, waits for him to come out, or if he goes out and tells his young pitcher to kind of calm down with all the body language and emotional out on the baseball field. You know, 1 or 2 to choose from.
Eric Young will be coming up for the 6th time tonight. He's got 3 runs scored. No conversation between Steve McCaddy and home plate umpire Bill Miller. Rockies have scored in the 3rd, the 4th, the 6th, the 7th, and now the 8th. Eli had an RBI double his last time up. And there's a wild pitch. Here comes another one. Smith scores. And another ugly outing that's not over for Henry Rodriguez.
That's frustrated young man, or I should say frustrated veteran manager. And Davey Johnson. What's frustrating, folks, when a guy throws 101 miles an hour, that's a tough pass ball right there. Missed his target by almost 2 feet. It has a nasty slider like he has, that it's just frustrating for everyone that watches the game. But, you know, say pound the strike zone. Good walk, guys. See what you get done here.
And EY will bounce it back to the mound. Rockies get 2 more runs. They've matched a season high with 15 runs. They scored 15 late May against the Cardinals. .7 the score, top of the 9th inning. Let's check in with Tom Helmer. Tom.
Drew, it's time to play a little post-game show Jeopardy. The topics tonight, post-game categories. We'll start with the first one. Remember, you have to answer in the form of a question. The answer, career-high 4 runs driven in tonight.
Who is Dexter Fowler out of Alpharetta, Georgia? Do I get bonus points for this?
You actually don't, but I appreciate the knowledge. Second question, second answer. Hitting over 400 since the All-Star break.
Who is Troy Tulowitzki?
That is correct. And final question of the night, or should I say answer?
You know what,
I'd be a terrible Jeopardy host.
Very quickly. You see how quickly I'm getting to the buzzer, and Frazier's a day late and $1 short.
Is Frazier still in the booth?
Yeah, I didn't even know right here. I'm just thinking about it. I'm waiting for the big points. I let him take the 25%.
Here's double Jeopardy right here.
Okay, let's go.
Greatest personality on the Toyota postgame show.
Tracy Ringlesby.
Tracy Ringlesby.
That's actually correct. Yes, you're right on that one.
Who got the answer in first?
I think, Drew, I think you swept the category tonight. We'll play Final Jeopardy later on, but congratulations, Drew.
Okay.
You're on top of your game tonight.
Thank you. Can you do the music before you depart here for a moment?
Tom.
Na, 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 na,
Nice.
na. There you go.
Tom.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Catch you on the flip side.
All right, Tom Helmer and the gang. Toyota postgame show right after Rex Brothers gets outs 25, 26, and 27.
Well, when you like to see that, let the left-hander come out and just dominate this lineup and be able to pound the strike zone. Johnny Gomes will start it off, followed by Ian Desmond, and then Wilson Ramos, 3 right-handers in a row, making 28th appearance. 22 2/3, 22 hits so far, but 34 strikeouts. That'll grab you, but 13 walks. You'd like to see that get down a little bit. Got an 8-run lead, 15-7.
The answer is Johnny Herrera.
What's that?
Who is the Rockies' new shortstop?
There you go. Why does he always get to play shortstop?
Because he's a really good fielder.
Okay.
One ball, one strike. Should have asked Tom Trebek how his Achilles is doing.
Who?
Tom Trebek, our postgame show
Oh,
host.
him? Okay.
Well, you know, the Jeopardy host blew out his Achilles chasing down a
bad guy?
Well, yes. A woman broke into his hotel room in San Francisco last week. Tried to steal something. He had to tried to chase her down, blew out his Achilles.
Didn't know that.
That's a base hit. There have been 33 hits in this ball game, 22 runs. Ian Desmond, after a 4-hit night, got the collar tonight. Matchup tomorrow on the Hill will feature Aaron Cook for the Rockies against left-hander John Lannon. 2-0.
See, when a guy's been roughed up, he's a young pitcher. One thing I look for is body language. I want to see the body language if you do get into a little bit of trouble again. Do I see the language that tells me, uh-oh, here I go again? Or do I see the language, this ain't happening? I'm not going to get beat up in this ball game. I'm going to get some outs. And, you know, that's kind of some of the things Jim Tracy's talked to me about, some things you're looking for. You know, are you going to attack the strike zone? Falling behind here, 3-0.
That's in there for a strike. Nelson gets an out at first. Smart move. So Gomes at second, 1 out. And Wilson Ramos will come up. Ramos' single his last at bat. Comebacker and a couple of punch outs as well tonight. Fouled off into the crowd, out of play. Gold Glove defense tonight among the 43,321.
Did you say he jumped? These are the people really happy that he caught, the ones right behind him.
I have to tell you, I think this may be the first error-free ball game by the fans all year.
No, I've seen one other.
Carr
No,
going deep right. Tonight's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Well, you can't give it to one guy, not when you have 15 runs on 19 hits. You give it to everybody. Ionetta 4 hits tonight. Tulowitzki did not make an out, 3 for 3. Sack fly and a walk. Carr going his return, a couple of hits. Todd throwing out a knock. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. The Rockies. Oh. Brian Bixler stepped in the ball game in right field. Two on Bixler. Great crowd on a beautiful night, and they've been treated to a ton of offense, including the big dinosaur. 40.
Who is that? Oh, that's Dinger. I was a little disappointed this morning at the fans camp game. He wasn't there.
He sleeps in on Saturday.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Probably watching cartoons, huh? Flintstones.
He's a big fan, George, of Clifford the Big Red Dog. 1-2. He went around. Pineda has to go to first. And the Rockies have finished off a 15-7 victory over the Washington Nationals. They've won 2 of the first 3 here at Coors Field against the Nats. Tomorrow they'll try to make it 3 of 4. 15 runs matches a season high. 19 hits for the Rockies. Chacín gets his first win since June. His 9th of the year. He is now 9-8. And taking the loss, Livan Hernandez. He falls to 6-11 on the campaign. Again, the final score, the Rockies win it 15-7. And as always, we invite you to stick around for the Toyota postgame show. That will immediately follow.